Hi, hello. So in today's video, I will be redesigning Osana. Osana Najimi from Yandere Simulator. So this is getting popular again because Yandere Dev is a creep. I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video. College is kicking my ass, but I did want to mention it because this is kind of eerily close to home. My first video ever was redesigning the Yandere Simulator characters. Actually, my first video ever was redesigning Osana. I think. No. One of my first videos was redesigning Osana. Because at that point, I was a very bitter ex-fan of the game when I realized Yandere Dev was just not, was lazy. That's all I really thought of him. I didn't really think of him as a creep. And in middle school, this was, one of the things I was obsessed with. And the fact that, he was using the fact that a lot of, quirky, maybe, a little artistic, not autistic, even though I am a little autistic, femme people. And the fact that he had so many probably at his disposal, it's kind of freaky because I could have very well, if I was more active on the internet instead of just posting, something once every a year on my, or maybe 3 times a year on my bad DeviantArt, or if I tried to message him, because if I was more outgoing, that would have been really bad. And it's not a surprise to me, looking back at the game and its contents and a lot of the things, the whole wearing certain panties to give you certain abilities, and some of the weird bullshit with underage girls, is that it wasn't even an if, it was a win. And I'm so sorry to anybody who has been hurt by this man or taken advantage of by this man, and I am so sorry to anybody he has taken advantage of or anything. Anyway, because he's a creep and I hate him even more, I decided I would try to desecrate all of his characters, but only to him though, because in my brain I'm just making them better and more cute. So this is Osana Najimi, which I renamed her, and I need to let me pull up her new name, because I rename most of the names for the older characters are literally just popped through Google Translate. So if you put Osana Najimi through to Google Translate, it literally translates to childhood best friend, which is stupid. But I gave her a new name, which was Mari Shio. She's 18, nickname Mari Mari. I thought it was cute. She's in the cooking and art club. Basic temps, short temper. She likes your senpai. And she's childhood best friends with your senpai. I decided to keep it short and simple because this was kind of fast, so I didn't go too super crazy. I also handwritten it and not typed it, so there's probably misspellings in the ref sheet. I made sure not to misspell the name, but for the other words, I'm dyslexic. I don't know. For the design, I decided, since Osana is known for the red hair and the long pigtails and the pink socks, right? So I wanted to still keep the red hair, and I kind of still wanted to keep the long hair, but I was also well, everybody just gives her pigtails and then just a new outfit, and I want to be different. I'm special. Not really, but I thought I would do something different with her hair, because everybody and their mother does the same thing where they just keep it in the pigtails, which I understand. I like pigtails too. They're one of my favorites, but I was she needs to be different, especially because I gave my yandere pigtails. So she has this short hair with ridiculously large buns, and in my brain, canonically, or at least in my version canonically, the buns are okay, so you know how Miku wigs you clip them on? They're fake hair extensions to make it look like she has longer hair, because she really wants longer hair, but she doesn't want to brush it every morning. So she just pretends that she just puts them up into cute little buns, but really they're just fake hair, and that's really funny to me. I kept her to be a ginger. I gave her green eyes instead of orange eyes most gingers, it's either green or blue. I like green more than I like blue, so I picked green. For her socks, I kept the polka dots. I didn't color them in because I feel like that would just make them look a little bit more obnoxious, but I made them lower on her. I also gave her freckles. Another thing that I did with her that it's kind of hard to see, but when you see my yandere, I tried to purposely, I think I said it in the video that she's athletic, because I wanted her, like, in my brain, realistically, to me, a serial killer, like, of that degree is probably very fit and is strong enough to take people out. So, or, like, preemptively. And a lot of people work out to take out stress or whatever. I just imagined her to be a very, like, fit, like, strong, like somebody who looks really kind of small, but is actually, like, really lean, and somebody you really don't want to mess with. For Osana, I wanted her to be the opposite, so I tried to make her a little bit more chubby, at least in comparison to our yandere-chan, which I am going to try to add more, at least one plus-size character. But that might be later on because I'm trying to figure out who or what. I also want there to be male rivals in this version because I love desecrating Alex's dreams. Anyway, for this, so that's what I did. I also gave her more tan skin because when I think of childhood best friends, I think of like kids who like, or like friends who like used to play outside together on the street with scooters and the skateboards on the swing, climbing trees. Kind of like how I guess my childhood was, which is, yeah, kind of how like my childhood was, running around on the playground together, like going out on like going fishing and like getting all sunburnt and tan because, well, I'm a tan, which means I tan really nicely, but that's what I think of. I just think of like running around outside and like, so I was like, well, maybe she likes outside, so if she's outside, she's having contact with the sun, which means she'd have a tan. Also gave her freckles because the freckles are cute, and gingers, I don't care if you're a ginger and have no freckles, but in my brain, all gingers have freckles. So I gave her freckles. Also in this version, a lot of people, to explain the red hair, make her half like American or half from somewhere. I decided, I'm not sure of where in Europe quite. I'm thinking Spain, which I know sounds funny. What? But what's it called? The reason the word Hispanic exists is because Spain it's not like the same like as South America. They're just white with speak Spanish with some weird cultural similarities. Because my mom, or I'm also half Mexican, with some of the family being more closely tied to Spain than Mexico. And my mom had cousins with the exact same features as this Osana, and I was like, well, I can just, it's either gonna be, she's gonna be somewhere either northern or southern, and then half Japanese. I don't know how or why that decided. Onto the uniform, I've obviously changed that one because they're in middle school uniforms. I always draw them in the indoor shoes because I think they're cute, and I like the indoor anime or the indoor Japanese high school shoes. They're very cute. I adore how cute they are. I would wear those every day. Probably not. For the main, or not the main sketch, but the more like detailed sketch, what I ended up doing was I made a sketch, put it on multiply, lowered the opacity, colored it in, and like did some really mild rendering on the skin and hair and clothes. And I was like, yes, this is definitely so much easier than doing line art. I don't even know what it is, because I don't even think like, I don't know why so recently I've been having this like battle with line art where I feel like I hate line art more than anything. I just am right now, and I don't know why. I think it's because after doing or before doing it, line art tires me out, I guess, and then I do all that rendering, but it's always worth it, like to have that subtle like line there. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll figure it out. I'll either just keep on doing this like lazy recreation sort of my style, or I'll just suck it up eventually and make a full rendered piece or I'll start painting more. Because I do enjoy, I enjoy painting a lot. Actually, I might start painting these, but I won't guarantee that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We hit 800 subscribers. I hadn't mentioned it because I was gonna mention it, and then it dipped down to 799, and I was like, oh, now I can't mention it. So I wanted to mention it now because I'm pretty sure, I'm like 98% sure it's at 800, and I wanted to thank you guys. I also wanted to say, for anybody who's new here, like, subscribe, and share. I want to do something big for 1,000 subscribers, but I'm not too sure what yet. I've tried hosting art competitions, but they turn out okay sometimes. The last one kind of flopped. I decided just not to continue, or actually no, my ADHD made me forget, and then I decided